group that we wanted you to all come here to get to know us and get to know Para La Naturaleza and one of our visitor centers and what we do. Because this is the center, we do conservation and education. And this is where everything moves. And from here, we get contact with the farmers. And one of the things that we do with the farmers is when we have an open house here, the farmers come and they have a place to sell their crops. And we wanted to promote that a little bit more as part of what we're doing with the farmers. Our habitat program was created after the hurricanes Maria and Irma, and it has three major initiatives, and one of them is work with communities surrounding us. The areas we protect more than 30,000 acres, ¿verdad? 30,000 acres.
Property?
No, in terms of the whole of Para La Naturaleza.
34,000.
34,000, yeah, acres of land. And so we are touching a lot of different towns, a lot of different communities, a lot of different groups that work, things that are, they are mostly the same that we do, but in smaller scale, in community scale. And with those groups, we are doing 30 community centers. We are refurbishing them with solar energy, water catchment and water treatment of the water harvesting, and just to make sure if anything else happens in terms of a hurricane or something like that, they can have a place to go near their community. Because one of the things that happened after the hurricane is we went out and we noticed that a lot of people were in need. They were in need of that, and they were in need of food. And that's where farmers come in. The food that we receive in the island is mainly from outside. So 85.
89%, everything we get in the grocery stores came by boat every week.
So after the hurricanes, everything was closed. The ports were closed, the airport was closed, everything. So we want to support farmers to be strong in order to get back on track fast, and their communities could have that food, good food, available rapidly, and they have that relationship. So that's the second initiative, which is now we're bringing to other alliances and other people like Rotary International to be part of it. And then there is the reforestation part. We lost a lot of vegetation. Most of the vegetation was non-native. So we have an opportunity to reintroduce native species in our daily life, our forests, and our urban areas everywhere. And that work, it has a big goal of planting 750,000. 750,000 trees. Yes, in 7 years, and produce them as well. So today you're going to visit one of our tree nurseries. One is here in Hacienda La Esperanza. And with that project, we are doing reforestation programs in different areas, urban areas, with schools, with community groups, and in our natural protected areas. Like here, we have a project to do some reforestation, not only in our reserve, nature reserve, but in areas surrounding our reserve. And that project will entail planting more than 50,000 trees in 3 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that is with the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation. They are covering some part of the cost, and we are covering the other part. So we are gathering a lot of people, organization, alliances that want to do this with us and collaborate. Either they are the lead or we are the lead, or it all depends what are the projects. And it is very exciting to have all of you here and to see how we can continue our relation with Rotarians. Rotarians have been here planting in La Esperanza actually, and other properties from our organization, and we've been working for a while.
Where do you make the selection as far as where do you plant the trees? Who decides where they go?
Well, we have a management plan for our natural protected areas or nature protected areas, and usually when we see a new area that is going to be protected, we look at what are the things to be done to that area, reforestation being part of one of it, and they choose the areas. And now with the program, we're taking that a little bit further. Here in La Esperanza, there are different biologists and agronomists, and they work together looking at that information and other ways to enhance the environment of La Esperanza specifically. And in other areas, we either work with other organizations that are that have their own plans, and we talk about what type of trees should go to certain areas. With urban areas, we work with the people who live there. Mm-hmm. And the necessities, their needs, and also what is surrounding, because we don't want to plant a tree that is going to be cut in the future. Mm-hmm. We want to plant a tree that will be there and they can see growing and they could see how it turns out. And one of the things that we've seen happening, especially in urban areas, is people planting huge trees beside the house. Mm-hmm. And then all of the
roots.
Yes, the root system will do what the root system do. Mm-hmm. They will get food for them to be alive. Mm-hmm. But that goes not well with our house. So we don't want it anymore there. But we plant it there. So we want to make sure that when they plant whatever they do or choose, well, you're thinking of that tree, the one that is huge, that is big. For probably we're not going to see all of these trees, we're not going to see them grow. It's going to be for our granddaughters, grandchildren. It is not for us.
Later generations.
It is for later generations. Mm-hmm. We are planting the forest of the future. That is the reality. What happened in Puerto Rico, we were, the deforestation here was in a, like 94% of the island was deforested at the beginning of the 1900s.
And why is that? Just development?
Basically agriculture mainly, and cutting down beautiful wood that was later used, and there were different efforts done to reforest the island. And one of it was between the 30s and the 40s. They were planted here 30 million trees in 13 years. 13 million trees in 13 years, yes. Mm-hmm. And more than 2,000 people were workers at that point. The conservation corps, it was the same at the States also. And so the trees we see today are those trees. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be the same. Mm-hmm. The later generations are going to see the trees that we're planting today. We've seen it before, it's going to be again. So the only difference is that now we were more ready in terms of the trees that we have are native. At that point, they needed to protect the land, the soil. So a lot of trees that were planted were non-native because they were grow fast and there was a use for it. And now we can do different now. It is another step, I guess. So if you have any question of the habitat program, I'm more than welcome.
Are you planting trees for commercial use or just for beauty and to hold the soil together? Do you plan to cut so many a year and plant so many a year in order to sustain the environment and to sustain the use of the trees, building and that kind of thing?
In Puerto Rico, there is no wood industry at this moment. La Esperanza has a project, a wood project specifically, in the Cars area. They have planted they have chosen a plot and they are planting thinking that way. For that, we haven't had any organization yet asking to do a plot to harvest. Because it's a farming project also. It could be a farming project.
There's only one company, it's called Casas de la Selva, and they're like the only group that's doing agroforestry, and they're kind of farming, I think, blue maho and pine. That's probably the only one, and it's a very small operation.
Yeah, it's in Calle, and they don't have the planning.
Yeah, I mean, they're not like cutting and planting or anything like that. They're just
No.
harvesting what was already.
You have to remember we're from Georgia, and Georgia
Yes.
Pacific is a big behind.
Yes.
That's one of the biggest industries.
Originally, it was planned for them. I mean, most of the roads around El Yunque are not there for tourist purposes. They're actually there because there was the setup, the 30 million trees in 13 years. It was actually part of an agroforestry project. They planted maho, teak, mahogany, which are huge today. I mean, look at them; they're not from Puerto Rico, but they were originally destined for that, but eventually it was abandoned as a project. So the roads are still there, and that's how we access El Yunque today. But they were there mostly for farming, for agroforestry, for farming. It's changed a little bit, which is
So we are not doing it, but we are not close for it. We will like it to be native trees. Like for example, all of the wood used in this house is basically native, and yeah, it's beautiful. The one up there is capa, ¿verdad? Capa prieto, and that is the one that they are planting up there in the parcel. So it's probably, yeah.
something that we're also focusing on as an organization. When I mentioned in the vehicle that we're constantly identifying people that want to donate land or do land easements, or if we can, we buy the land. We always focus when we're doing the rapid assessments on what biodiversity there is. And one of the things that we focus on is, for example, native and endemic noble woods that can have a use towards the future. We try to identify places and acquire places that have a high biodiversity of local woods, kind of like the bullet wood, which are these beams. In Patillas, for example, we found a really beautiful property, and right at the top of the forest, it was just full of the same type of tree. So it was just, we might not want to harvest it necessarily, but it's a good source of seeds, for example, fruits that we can harvest and keep in our nurseries.
A lot of the buildings in Europe came from here.
Yeah, actually, if you think about it,
all over the island.
the Caribbean revolutionized the Spanish economy and the Spanish Armada. They turned into an empire thanks to not only the gold that they mined out of the islands, but also the wood, all the energy. That's what they used to make their houses and their boats, ships, etc.
And they're still there.
Yeah. And a lot of these buildings are still here. I mean, a lot of the wood that's lying on the grass over there, that's from old buildings that just simply redone, fixed a little bit, and here they are.
Yeah, we use like 30% of the wood here, the main wood, it is reused.
It's beautiful.
from all buildings. Yeah. So you could see some marks in the wood. Those are reused. So they have to have hundreds of years.
Well, it's all a good thing.
So we hope that there will be a good wood industry
Yeah.
soon. It will be great. Yeah. Anything else?
I just wanted to mention one more thing. You know that Luisa was talking about that reforestation activity in the 30s in Ajunca and around the island of Puerto Rico. One of the people that did this was Frank Wadsworth. He was actually from Michigan and he ended up here in Puerto Rico. He married, I think, twice or three times with Puerto Ricans. That's not necessarily the point I wanted to make. The thing is that, but yeah, I mean, he loved the country and he founded Boy Scouts of Puerto Rico, the chapter here in Puerto Rico. He founded that. And he was probably one of the first people to move kind of like the environmental movement in terms of reforestation and the services that these ecosystems give. So it's also a way of kind of taking the greatest parts of that initiative and kind of revitalizing it. And maybe the take-home message is that you can never plant too much. And that's maybe what we're trying to hook up with here. And obviously give people the experience of replanting a tree, because sometimes it's not the same to know a statistic. For example, yeah, we planted 500,000 trees in 3 years. Okay, that's great, but who did it? So when you're a kid, when you're an adult, and you're planting a tree, it's beautiful. So that's kind of, again, seeing something that worked in the past and kind of applying it to the future and to the same problems that we've always had. For example, we've always had hurricanes. And Frank Wadsworth, in his autobiography, he mentions Puerto Rico is not taking advantage of the hurricanes. In other places in the world, whenever there's a hurricane, Honduras, for example, they'll actually harvest the wood and sell it or use it to fix their buildings. Here, we lost a lot of it, unfortunately. And it's a good thing that maybe Hurricane Maria hit us hard enough to kind of wake up from our torpor, and at least Para La Naturaleza is trying to do their part in that sense. So.
Yeah.
So, what else for your project do you guys like? Do you feel like you need? Like, what do you still need to continue to build like better, bigger, expand?
I think what we are in the process of learning now, like for example in reforestation, one of the things that we want to do is to make sure that the trees are taken care of for a while, and that is it has a cost. So we are figuring out how much does it cost and how we're going to do it, how we're going to make sure. When we plant in urban areas, it's a lot easier because people live there and they will take care of the tree, they will water it, they will clean it. But when you're in a very secluded area, it's not that easy. And the act of planting is a beautiful act. But the act of taking care is an enormous act. And that is when you make sure that it's gonna be a tree. Or at least you give more opportunity for it to become a tree, yeah. So we are looking for ways to make sure that this project, all the trees that are planted, like you're gonna plant some trees today, and we are gonna make sure that those become trees. And if some people come from outside, how will you make sure that those become trees? Because you wanna come back and you wanna see what you did. You wanna come back and see your tree.
The fruits of our labor.
Yes, it's because it's part of it. It's important. It is a piece, like a bird grabs a seed and throw it. He's not gonna see it. He probably doesn't know. But he made a labor that is important in terms of reforestation because he left a seed there and it's processed and it will become a tree, some of those. And that is how some part of the reforestation happened. When we do it, we can see what is the change, and we want to make sure that is communicated, that could be seen, and that we take care of every seedling or we plant trees more than seedlings, that every tree that we plant become a huge tree, and it will be part of a forest. And you're part of a forest. We are all part of our communities. We are forests. So we want to make sure to give that to everything that we plant. So,
To follow.
yeah.
I mean, one of the biggest problems here, for example, is that grasses grow faster than the trees. No matter if it's a fast-growing tree, they'll overgrow any tree in a matter of a month. So the biggest problem here in Hacienda La Esperanza is actually competing with grasses. So how do you solve that problem? Here it's trimming, mowing the grass, physically getting in there, getting the vines out. But it's because this area is completely degraded because of the past land use. You see? So if we had a forest, it would be a lot simpler because you would have shade, you wouldn't have so much competition with the grasses. So you're literally creating a forest from scratch. So if you think about it, in the future it's going to be a lot easier. But right now, the challenge is, again, the upkeep, the maintenance, the caretaking of the trees.
The caretaking. And it is the most difficult, but at the same time, it's so nice when you open the air from a tree. Well, when you open a tree when it's all covered in vines and you can see the tree going out, like saying thank you.
Actually, I think Luisa has the advantage. So Luisa used to work here.
Oh yes.
And the arboretum we passed through, where we just got to the reserve, I think you were probably part of planting some of those trees.
No, actually it was Rafi.
Rafi.
It was
Okay, so-
before anybody was here. It was just one of the first projects made here. They created that arboretum to collect seeds, and I guess has to be like 20, almost 30 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
Thank
that's
you
what
so
we're trying
much.
to do. Convert a process that takes thousands of years for nature in 20, 30 years. So it's an art task.
So now you're in great hands because you're gonna be with Luis and with Carlos.